historically, it sounds kind of silly, but we have a file management problem too in home building, right? So you have so many files everywhere that you have to maintain and update. That's when we talk about managing the data, that's really what we mean. If someone tells you you need to change all of your windows, you have to change it thousands of places potentially, right? Marissa can, I'm sure,
Yeah.
relate to that. But I think what Higharc has done is we've said we don't need to keep all of those files of information anywhere. We're going to use very new technology, generative design, that generates a snapshot of the home in the instant that you need it. And so what that does is it allows you to have instant access to the information without having to find it. It doesn't exist in the past, if you will, right? It's an active live generated model each time that we call for a deliverable.
Right. So we talked a lot about back office advantages, but this slide speaks to customer experience, right? The visualization side of things. That's part of the differentiation as well.
We're able to show people, like give them a really good sense of it. We can configure different palettes. So like a light palette, dark palette, different types of roofs, and really allow them to see how their home changes as they select different structural options. So they can see how the game room gets bigger when they take away a bedroom, or if they're adding a structural option that adds a bath, they can see how that changes too. Whereas before, most people can't visualize on a typical brochure. It'll break out the options kind of like below the base home. And that's really hard for most people to like merge those things together. So this takes us right over into showroom. And so we sell all of our structural options in showroom. So we can kind of flip through some elevations. We also insert some like real life photos of those elevations just to help people kind of visualize that. And you can see it change automatically as Jennifer clicks through those. And so this is just kind of showing some of the different brick options. There's a siding option there. Can get a good feel for it. In the living area, if you open it to the interior, yeah, so if we go to the second floor, Jennifer, you can see a good change there. So we can see that changes in real time where you're adding another bedroom and a bath. And I can also see from an exterior perspective how that changes my roof line. It can also handle little intersecting options. So I can put in the logic to say, hey, you can get an outdoor fireplace, but you can see here it's locked. So not unless you upgrade to that enlarged covered patio and then unlock that option, it'll pop out that patio. And then if we add that outdoor fireplace, that pops that in as well. And we have a real life photo, that way they can kind of understand exactly what that's going to look like, but also can see it in the rendering too. Oh, that's, they might not have thought that the chimney would have siding on it. Maybe they thought that was brick. That could be a big issue later down the line for a customer. And so it's really nice that we have that level of detail represented here in showroom.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that we're on Buffington's website essentially, right? So we're configuring this all online. This is where I would be shopping, right? So I'm shopping for this house. I can see the options that I have selected. And then Marissa, if you want to kind of walk through what happens after I do this and who's going to call me.
So our online sales consultant will get an email that said, hey, somebody just configured a home via Higharc, and then they'll reach out to them to set up an appointment.
And just to kind of circle out the customer journey here. So if I just sent that to your online sales agent, what I'm given is this kind of like static copy of it that I can share to social media. You guys have done a really nice job with all of this. And then I've got the ability also to download a printable brochure, right? So this is my unique brochure. Sometimes people want to, have that kind of like hard copy. You can download that as well.
Yeah, we love that feature, especially if someone comes into our office and we're configuring homes with them. We always send an email with what they configured to them so that when they go home, they can look at it or, show it to someone in their life that is a decision maker.
Marissa, do you have any sense for how much time people spend looking at 3D and exterior versus plan and interior?
You know, I have not, I don't know the time that they would spend in plan versus 3D, but I know that most people, even people in our office that have worked in home building, you know, for decades, 3D is easier for everybody to understand. I think before, the culture in our office and the way we were maintaining things, it really kind of hardened us to, like, almost backed us into a corner when a change was brought up or something we wanted to do. There was a lot of resistance internally. It wasn't because we weren't excited about the product or didn't want to do it. It's because it was such a lift. And so now I've really seen that kind of like weight lifted off of our shoulders, where we can make plan changes, we can do things we're excited about, and compete at that level we want to compete at. So Jennifer saved that home plan and sent it to herself. This is my Higharc dashboard. And so on our website, everything goes to this one community. It's called the Buffington Sandbox, but I've got all my different communities in there. And then I'm just going to search for Jennifer. So here's Jennifer's plan. This is kind of like, I guess it's like the home plan screen where I can see information. I can see a plan summary of all the options the customer selected and anything that happened on this home. This is actually one she did yesterday, but I exported that home plan. I can download the brochure and I can download the plan set. And when we were prepping for this webinar, I actually like totally forgot how revolutionary this is to our process. I was like, oh yeah, I like totally take this for granted now that I can immediately download a plan set. Our process before was, you know, a customer would come in, they would select their structural options. We would send it off to our third party. They would create a plan set for us for that lot specific home. And that would take, I mean, between 14 to 21 days. And now it's instant. It's just the time it takes for me to click and download it. So now I can see the different options on there, that enlarged covered patio with the outdoor fireplace. I can see that kind of at the top of the screen there. And then it'll pull in also any options that are detail enabled. I can pull in specific details. So say if we had a detail for the outdoor fireplace, how we do the mantle and the firebox, that would pull into my plan set automatically since they selected that option. The other day when we were preparing for this, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just so used to having those instantly and being ready for permit that I forgot it used to take us 3 weeks to do this process.
I'm just going to interject with one of my pipe dreams is to get the technology layer of the floor plans included in this stuff at some point, because technology, the electronics, what people call the low voltage, it's not required by code. And so it ends up being afterthought, stickums on a bird's eye. And one of these days we're going to get automatically generated technology drawings to be one of the layers here. You're going to help us do it, right?
I'm going to put in a feature request now. We'll have that ready for you. We'll test it out with Marissa here and see if we can get that moving for sure.